Hello.
Here we are.
Hey, who's ready for the Java versus Perl Deathmatch?
Yeah.
Round one. Fight!
Finish him. Java checking out the
So my front, my beginning slide seems to be a little bit different than what the name of the talk is. About me, I did this yesterday. Okay, so I was talking with some people before to try to figure out what kind of a talk I should give. Before I decided on the other one, I thought about this one since I recently switched by necessity from one language to another, and there's a lot of people who are mad and either can't. A lot of people think you have to have one or the other, and so I started thinking about this. So I started asking people I know who've done either or have done both what their thoughts on the matter were, and I came up with a list basically of things that people usually say. They usually say that development is slow in Java, the code is over-engineered, you're forced to use object orientation, and that it scales well. The first one and the last one don't seem to really make sense taken together to me, but these are the things that I hear over and over again. So it takes you a long time to make the plans at the beginning, you over-engineer things, so it takes a long time to make it. People writing Perl will write the equivalent thing faster. What people say about Perl in general is that it doesn't scale. I think we have a couple of people in here at least who would disagree with that. That it's line noise, you see this kind of thing. He vomits out some Perl script. And that people value cleverness over correctness, and that you have a, which we've heard about already, and that there's a small code size. One prominent member of the Perl community a long time ago wrote a long article about how why he's not a Java developer. One of his main points was that hello world should be one statement. Okay? I deliberately put it on 2 lines here. He basically, so if you look at the basic hello world program in Java, the point is actually fairly valid here. To do that, to get to that basic point, you need to know about classes, privacy, types, methods, arrays, chain method calls. What the file is named is important. So to write a hello world program in Perl,
can you increase the font size? It might be easier.
Yeah, I can try.
Control plus. Control plus.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. So this one?
It's getting better.
So, well, anyway, the point is the hello world program in Perl is 1 line, and Perl 6 it's the same.
Shouldn't that 1/ be a blank? And a shebang line? Or is there something?
Oh yeah, I didn't put the space in there. Sorry, I usually put a space between that. So, and the same kind of thing in Perl 6. So this is what that should have looked like up there. Set Perl instead of Perl 6. It's much less complicated. So that was basically part of the point. All these things. If you were teaching a new developer one language or another, why would you teach them Java? Okay. So, but this talk is actually not about that. I will, just to prove my ultimate point, show a couple of differences between the 2 languages, but my ultimate point is that there's a use case for everything, and it doesn't matter which language you use in the end. It matters that you get your stuff done. Okay, so the big arguments, so those points I was showing earlier, one of them was scalability, that Java scales and Perl doesn't. The arguments that come up time and time again for scalability have to do with garbage collection, typing, and exception handling. So with garbage collection, who knows how garbage collection works in Perl 5? Can you tell us?
It's the only one I guess.
Quickly, yeah.
There's no garbage.
Yeah, and you create a cycle of things that self-referential.
I don't know what that is. Okay.
Cycle.
In Java, it's automagic. Your mileage may vary. Perl 6, can someone very briefly tell me how it works?
Two-phase nursery in the first stage of more VM and the generational system, and when they're old enough they'll get promoted to phase 2, stage 2, certain things get allocated to stage 2 straight away. But it's, yeah.
So, okay, and so there is garbage collection in Perl. Okay? In Java, so you have garbage collection automatically. I recently, as in yesterday, had a problem. I had to leave early because we have a lot of people out at my company, so I had to do some support. And this is in a language where they talk about garbage collection like it's the best thing ever. So this is what the end result was. So because one inner class wasn't declared static, we ended up adding 1 gigabyte to the heap. And it actually took the whole system down. These people who have they have 450 websites. They have 500 people who edit those websites, and it ended up causing all kinds of problems. But in the end, this is so. The point is, there's good and there's bad in both languages for the same thing. Okay. This typing argument, dynamic typing is more expressive. You see how pretty I made it? With static typing, you're getting some kind of safety, you're getting runtime speed, because it already knows what it is, it doesn't have to try to figure it out, and it's more a writer to do static typing. So I had another very quick example on this actually. I want to ask you a question. What do you think? When do you think will this compile?
Is it possible to make the type even bigger? Because back here,
Yeah, I tried to. It's
back here it's.
Thank
Thank you.
okay. Okay. So will this compile? This is a very basic Java program. Well, let's see if it compiles.
Compiles, but it doesn't run.
Yeah, it compiles, okay? So this is our static typing helping us, it compiles. There's no problem here. But it doesn't matter because if the programmer screws something up, it still doesn't work. So you can have static typing and get all these protections on the front end if you want it, but you can still screw up the program. So I had on that side. Okay. So, sorry about this. I hope it haunts your dreams. So with typing, Java has static typing, but you can cast, as we just saw, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Perl 5 has dynamic, but you have also moose with introspection. Perl 6, you can do what you want, I guess. You can force it or not. So as someone just showed. So exception handling, I don't have good experience in Perl 5 with exception handling. I'm sorry, but maybe I wasn't doing it right. But Java and Perl 6 kind of look the same to me. So.
But you don't need to try in Perl 6. You just need to catch.
Just need to catch, you don't have to try? Okay.
Well,
You can use the
if you're not interested in the exception, then you do a try block. If you're interested in the exception, you use a catch block.
Okay. And you can catch multiple different types of exceptions, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the point though is, like I said, there are these comparisons, but they don't, in my mind, they don't make a lot of sense. Okay? I try to think practically. I have 3 children, I needed to work, so I changed what I do. Okay? You'll see online, if you look at various different counters, Java is the second ranked language, Perl is the 14th. This doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is if your skills transfer, what should matter to you is what you need to do in your job. Do you need stability? Do you need flexibility? Do you need speed? Do you need your stuff to just work? Do you need it to get done? And does your language, do your tools help or hurt you? I prefer certain IDEs, and I won't talk about them too much, but I try to use an IDE that helps me, except when I'm writing Perl, I just always use VI, because that's what I've always used, and there's probably something better that I never used. So, I worked with a lady once who was using Emacs, and she told me you can't spell evil without VI. So, anyway, so my point is the language doesn't matter, the algorithm does. I don't only mean math, I mean everything that goes into the project that you're putting together. It's already been pointed out in a couple of different talks that at some point you have to change the algorithm. It doesn't matter what machine it's on anymore. The biggest gain you're going to get is by changing the actual algorithm, the input there. And the algorithm is who the people you have working for you, what their skill sets are, what you're trying to do. That's what matters. So use the right tool for the job. Use both of them. I mean, if you have to. If you aren't willing to use both, you wouldn't be able to make a delicious turducken for Thanksgiving. I put some links. I had to shorten them like this because they were too big for the screen. And then if you want to go find a brainfuck interpreter online and plot that into there, you'll see something else. So, are there any questions?
Yeah, concerning the static typing, I think it's even more than you could just break it deliberately by casting, but you get into a situation where you have collections of arrays of collections and these things that actually occur because the APIs give you arrays or whatever, and then the static typing is so hard to use that people with 10 years experience in Java don't get it, or it doesn't even allow you to use it. So you come into areas where it's kind of not working. So there's languages which have static typing done right, like Haskell or Scala, yep, and pretty much. But Java is just halfway, so they have dynamic typing with some static typing.
What do you enjoy more? Programming in Java or programming in Perl?
You can't say and
give the right
job,
answer. You must, you need not answer if you don't want to.
So it's a live feed.
It depends on the day.
Okay.
It really does depend on the day. So for me, I'm not an expert in either one. I'm proficient in both of them to some level, and I use the one that I need. So one of my jobs is as the deputy system administrator at my company. I'm not writing Java programs to do system tasks. So.
One combination of Java and Perl that I find quite useful if you deal with Java programming, you often have the situation that you need some refactoring that is not in the set of refactoring options of your IDE. And
Which IDE are you using?
Eclipse or IDEA or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Upgrade Eclipse to
It doesn't matter. I want something customized. I want to add a print statement in each method that has a certain name, or I want to rename methods that have whatever name or whatever. There's things that are specific. And then I run Perl, and I parse the Java, and I output Java. I've been doing this like for pretty much all of my working life since 1994. It's one of the usages of Perl where it's really good because the regular expression engine of Perl, it just rocks, yeah? And even more now than earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
One remark, Perlito apparently now is able to compile a lot of Perl 5 code directly into Java source code, so you can actually use it in a jar.
Okay. That's
It's used
interesting.
demonstrated by Fabio. Apparently it's used in production.
Not by me. Not me. I know he ran some tests on it. It was really fast. He was tired of Perl 5 to Perl 6, Perl 6 to Perl 5, Perl 5 to JavaScript. He needed a new challenge.
Okay.
Good?
That's it.